Hello everyone, my name is Asyrafchazz and welcome back to yet another One Piece card game video. So, it has come to my attention that currently there are fake One Piece card game cards that are currently out there in the market, and it is a very concerning thing because I don't want anyone to, accidentally buy a certain card and then find out that it is actually fake. So in this video, I'm going to show you what a fake One Piece card game card would actually look like, compare it to the original, so you can spot the difference between a fake copy versus the original version of a card from the One Piece card game. But before we get into that, a quick word from the sponsor of this video. This video is sponsored by Esports Grading. Esports Grading is a grading company that aims to provide quality grading service at an affordable price. They offer a variety of grading service products, especially for the One Piece card game. Esports Grading is currently situated in 5 different countries worldwide: USA, Australia, Japan, Singapore as well as Malaysia, and are currently expanding their services to more countries in the coming future. Now, they were also one of the sponsors for the recent One Piece card game Asia Championship that happened in Singapore, the one that I casted, and they have a variety of graded products such as graded cards themselves, graded One Piece card game booster packs, as well as graded One Piece card game booster boxes. So if you ever want to grade and protect your sealed booster boxes, then esportsgrading.com is the way to go. But not only that, they also provide grading services for video games such as these ones for One Piece, which are really quite cool. Here is just some sample of the products that they offer, which is really cool to me. And for the Pokemon fans out there, they also grade Elite Trainer boxes as well as the Ultra Premium collections. So if you want to know more about esports grading, I've left a link to their website in the description below, esgrading.com. Go and check it out and see more information on the different type of services that they offer. Thank you so much for Esports Grading for sponsoring this video, as well as giving me the information regarding all those fake cards that are currently out there. So I actually did speak to the owner of the company during the Asia Championship itself, and we had a very nice talk, and he was the one that informed me regarding the existence of the fake One Piece card game cards. And they were kind enough to sponsor this video to kind of get the message out there, as well as to give you tips on how to identify fake cards for yourself. Now, Esports Grading has a team of professional graders that can help identify the difference between fake and real ones, so that when you are purchasing your product or when you're purchasing your One Piece card game cards, and I know some of them are really quite expensive, they don't want you to get cheated or accidentally buy a fake card off a online reseller. So do be careful on that. So let's take a look at a fake card and compare them to the original. So please share this video with a friend or a member of the One Piece card game community so that they stay well informed about this issue. So let's take a look at one of the fake cards that are currently out right now in the market, and it is of this Championship Luffy promo. Looks legit enough, right? At a first glance, if you don't really take a closer inspection, this looks like a real card. But upon closer inspection, you can actually see something's wrong with this card right here. So for example, the text on the card is actually not as sharp as compared to the original. And if you zoom in a little bit closer right here, see if I can get it on camera. If you can see, the text on this end right here is extremely blurred because their printers can't really replicate the very small text on the side of the card. Not only that, if you take a look at the back of the card right here, the card back is actually a slightly purplish color as compared to the original version. So let's do a side-by-side comparison with the original. So here is a comparison of the front of the card, and here is a comparison of the back of the card. As you can see, there is a difference in the color at the back of the card. So the original version doesn't really have a intense shine like the gloss. It's actually more of a natural muted foiling, and if you get in closer to the card itself, you can see that the text is actually really sharp, especially around the side edges right there. You can see, you can actually make out the text on the bottom right hand side of the card. Here are the two backs of the cards side by side. As you can see, it's very obvious once you put them beside each other, the fake and the real versions are very distinct, but at the front it's very difficult to see. But you can take a look at the difference in the foiling. So you really have to take a closer look at the championship logo as well as the text on the card itself. As you can see, the one on the right is a little bit sharper as compared to the one on the left. So please be careful when you're trying to buy these expensive promo cards on the secondary market. So here's another example of another fake card. This is the alternate art version of the Shanks right there. At first glance, you're not able to tell whether this is real or fake or not, except for the very explosive foiling on this card. At the same time, the text on this card is a little bit sharper as compared to the one that we saw for the Luffy. So how do you want to determine it? Take a look at the side of the card right there. Take a look. And it will be a little bit more blurry compared to the original version. At the same time, if you take a look at the card back, it does have that purplish hue as compared to the original version of this Shanks alternate art. For some of the alternate arts, you know, some of them are textured and they should have textured elements on the card itself. But for this Shanks, it's extremely flat, and you cannot feel any texture across the card. For comparison's sake, this is my copy of the original version of the card. As you can see, the text is extremely sharp. You can actually see a little bit of the texture on the card itself, especially around the Jolly Roger and behind Shanks itself. Around this area right here, there's actually a little bit of texture. And if I zoom in at the side right here, which says Bandai made in Japan, you can actually make out the text right there as compared to the original where it's a little bit more blurry. And if I flip the card over, you can see that the original version has a very nice blue as compared to the fake one. So once again, side by side comparison, the colors are a little bit off, the foil is a little bit different. So be sure to be careful when you're trying to see the difference between a fake and an original version, because the differences are extremely subtle, and I'm afraid that some less informed people might not be aware of this and might have picked up a fake instead. So please be careful. Here's a front side-by-side comparison, and here's a side-by-side comparison of the card back. It's more obvious when you take a look at them side by side, but at a first glance, you might not be able to even tell the difference if you didn't have the original to compare itself to. So please be careful when you're trying to purchase products or purchase these singles online. So once again, this information was provided to me by esports grading themselves. They want the community to know that there are fake cards out there, and for everyone to just be a little bit careful when you're making a purchase. Be extra careful in checking whether the card is original or fake, and at the same time, just do your due diligence and look out for these factors right here. So once again, just to summarize, here are some of the things to look out for when you're identifying a fake versus a real. Check the sharpness of the card, especially around the text area on the bottom right of the card where it says Bandai made in Japan. If it's a fake, it might be a little bit fuzzy or blurry as compared to the original, where the text is actually sharp and also extremely readable as compared to the fake one. And the second point to take note of is the color difference of the card back itself. The fake ones have a little bit of a purplish hue as compared to the real ones, which have a nice even blue around it. So that's another determining factor that you can use to identify a fake versus a real. Thirdly is the texture on the card itself. If you know that that alternate art has texture on it and you see the cards and it looks extremely flat, high chance that it's actually a fake card. Now, the texture part is a little bit subtle and it differs from card to card, because some cards, for example, like the Nami AA from OP01 has a lot more texture as compared to, for example, the Shanks that which I showed. But you have to kind of see and know which ones have texture and which one does not, so you can identify the difference between a fake and a real one. The last two things are actually the thickness as well as the flimsy card stock itself. For the fake cards, it's a little bit thicker and it's less flimsy as compared to an original version. But you can only identify these if you actually meet your seller in person. and you can actually feel the cards, and at that point you might risk damaging, and if it's an original, it's gonna be difficult to identify. So just take note, the first 3 points are valid: the sharpness of the card text itself, the difference between the colors of the backs of the cards, as well as identifying if the card has texture in the original version, and use it to identify if the card is fake or not. Once again, big thank you to Esports Grading for sponsoring this video and for wanting me to bring the message out to the One Piece card game community. This is a very serious thing, and I do not want anyone out there to be cheated or scammed by someone selling fake cards on the secondary market. I really hope that this video will be informative and extremely useful to future people that want to buy One Piece card game cards and not get scammed by some dubious people out there with fake cards. So that's it for me for today. Be sure to share this video with someone who might find this information useful. I just want to get the messaging out there. Thank you again, Esports Grading, for sponsoring this video. Do check out their professional grading services in their website in the description below. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.